What is up, guys? Welcome back to the R2R Network. My name's Khaos Kris, and I'll be your host today. Before we hop into this pre-recorded video with a founder from the TitanX Ecosystem, make sure you follow us on X, follow us on YouTube. Please follow Money Gain Crypto, Rax Riches, Viber Finance, Rad, the Verse Crypto channel, and the whole entire crew because we are working tirelessly to bring you guys the best content in this space. Now, today, I got an awesome video. We're going to jump into an interview with one of my friends and also a developer and builder within the TitanX ecosystem. As most of you guys know, TitanX is in the spotlight. A lot of people are talking about it. And we're also seeing the launch of new protocols being built on top of TitanX, which is absolutely awesome. So I want to welcome to the stage one of my buddies, the dude. What's up, dude?
What is up? What's up? Happy to be here, man.
My man.
Yeah,
Good stuff,
yeah, we're
man. Good
finally
stuff. Yeah. So, hey, how's everything going, dude?
excellent. It's been nerve-wracking developing this all, for the last 2 months, but now that we've successfully launched and we can look at all the stats, it's a lot easier to it's a lot less stressful for sure on my end.
I bet, man. I bet. I've heard so many stories of developers coming on, building their projects, staying up all night, and just putting in so much work. But hey, man, shout out to you. You brought a product to the market. People are excited about it, and it's pretty awesome. So overall, actually, before we get into the Helios launch, I just want to ask you real quick. For anyone who hasn't heard of Helios before, can you give us like just a brief explanation of what the protocol is?
Yeah, absolutely. We're a mining and staking platform. 100% of the Helios supply comes in from mining, and you use your TitanX tokens to mine Helios. And for the stakers side of things, we offer TitanX and ETH rewards. And really, the biggest selling point for us is we've got our V1 treasury that's got a ton of TitanX max staked to earn ETH rewards, and then we've got our investment pools that we kind of diversify our treasuries, allowing for steady growth of our buy and burn pool and our reward pools.
Absolutely. You guys got a lot going on in the protocol. And I remember when we first spoke about it, we dove into a lot of really great stuff. And I got to say, you guys have an awesome idea. And what I really liked about your response from that initial interview was you took community feedback and then you reapplied it to the protocol and then you update it. So from that first interview we had, because if I recall, you're the first, that was your first live stream discussing the protocol, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So from when you had that first live stream with me up until now, what were some things that you changed in the protocol?
There we changed a couple of things. The early on, the biggest change was the staking duration. We had lots of people that did not like the commitment level of, like in TitanX's case, 3,500 days is a max stake. Obviously, you can stake less than that, but if you want max rewards, you want to do a max stake. And people, especially with protocols like Helios taking over that stake pool, they were kind of over the staking side of things. So to make it a lot more enticing for users on our platform, we shrunk it down a ton. We're down to 830 days as a max stake. That way, you can do a max stake, get max bonuses without having to commit for 10 years. That was a main big selling point. Also, we changed our share rate to a flat rate. So people that come in, 1,000 days in, they still, they still get an equal chance at getting into the pool. And then more recently, it was pretty close to launch. We still had a lot of people complaining about stake dilution and what can we do about this? And that's when we came up with, since we have our DAO and we're allowed to having the DAO allows us to kind of shift with the markets and kind of go with the flow. And since we have the DAO now, we've enabled a whitelisting feature so that smart contracts cannot stake on our protocol unless they get whitelisted by the DAO. So in short, that means all the regular users, unrestricted, you can stake as much as you want. And rest assured that protocols aren't going to be built on top of Helios that take over that stake pool, massively diluting them and them losing out on their stake shares.
Wow.
That to me, that was like one of the biggest things that I think is pretty awesome.
That's awesome, man. I absolutely love it. And when it comes to the staking, anything TitanX, it's a huge hot topic controversy after the launch of
Yeah,
Dragon X. So it's one of
absolutely.
those it's one of those situations where you can't make everybody happy. And that's the one thing I learned about cryptocurrency and DeFi. You have any thoughts about that on community engage interaction and trying to settle things and make everyone fit their needs?
Yeah, no, it's a very tough task to do. Absolutely. But like what made me go with this decision is like, I mean, just going with the TitanX, I'm a max staker and it doesn't bother me. Yeah, my payouts are much smaller than what I had expected up front, but at the end of the day, I'm not throwing away those TitanX. It's just 3,500 days. So it's not a big deal
Right.
to me. But like on our platform, I felt like it was a big move because uh, we wanted to capture all those people that were looking forward to staking. And I feel like we one upped it by offering TitanX and ETH payouts with limited dilution. Of course, it's DeFi, and you can't really, it's still a permissionless system. So um, you're still
Gotcha,
gonna have
man.
people coming in, but yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. Now, let's talk about the launch. You guys launched on February 28th. You had to push it back a
Mhm.
little bit because of audits and stuff like that. And look, code takes time. So with the
Yeah.
launch of Helios, how would you rate the launch overall? Was it good? Okay. Did you run into any problems?
It was definitely a success, but there were definitely problems. Uh, Starting off, these wild gas fees, they they started right at our launch, and when I went to go deploy contracts, it cost me more than double than what was estimated on previous days, and I actually ran out of ETH deploying the contract and had to move funds around into another wallet to finish the deploy. So with all that being said, like we launched a few minutes late, about 40 minutes late. But other than that, everything went smooth. I hate that kind of some of the smaller fish got pushed out with the gas fees just because who's going to start $100 miner with $100 transaction fee? I don't blame them. So
Yeah. But on top of that, it is Ethereum, and this is
yeah,
something that I've seen a lot in the bear market. A lot of people are talking about, enjoy the gas fees now because when we get into the bull market, you're going to see anywhere between $100 to $500 gas fees. And it does push out the smaller fish. But also, another thing to consider is it does add a lot of value behind TitanX and Helios on the flip side. So there is a positive out of that, but I
yeah,
do I
yeah.
do agree it sucks a little bit because smaller investors can't come in. So
Mhm.
awesome. Now, one thing I wanted to bring up. So Helios is out, and just taking a quick look at the results. I'm gonna bring up this tweet. So do a quick screen share. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Cool. All right. So one thing I noticed is the Helios buy and burn and smart contract are now 3 and 4 holders of TitanX. What does this mean for the ecosystem, in your opinion?
It means a shitload. I mean, it actually caught me by surprise, honestly. Like I was doing something unrelated and scanning, on Etherscan, going to the TitanX holders and was like, wait, I recognize that address. And then that's when it hit me like, oh wow, like that's really cool. That's super cool. And like, what does that mean for us? It means a lot. I mean, uh, the number 3 largest holder of TitanX is got one sole job, and that's to buy and burn Helios. And like to me, that's super awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And when I saw this, I was actually surprised because I thought it would have took you guys a minute to, really build
Mm-hmm.
up and get to this position. I knew you would get to this position sooner or later, but that's with a lot of time. And to see that your buy and burn is sitting at number 3 and then your Helios smart contract is at number 4. That's pretty impressive. And what I see out of this ecosystem is that we have Dragon X, which is another benevolent whale staker buying up Titan X. We now we have Helios moving in with their buy and burn and that
Mm-hmm.
smart contract feeding in. So this means that TitanX is literally getting picked up from the market and you're adding a deflationary component behind it and it's actually benefit the entire ecosystem. So overall, I'm really excited. And what's really interesting about this is TitanX and DragonX and Helios, they got like this small little marriage between each other. So if one of them rises, in my opinion, I think all of them rises. What do you think about that, dude?
That's exactly the plan, right? We're all working together to lock up and burn Titan X, and when that happens, when the tide rises, all the ships come with it, and that's it's exactly what we want. So this is, to me, it's beautiful to see in action. It's just more data to prove what we're trying to build here is working.
Awesome. Now, let me share another window and let's get into the DApp real quick. So let me do stop screen, another present. All right. So let's do this. Cool. So just break it down this DApp and this excuse me, this new project that launched on top of TitanX. So if you guys come over here to app.helios.win, you can actually create a Helios Minor and basically just getting through the setup and the process for anyone who doesn't know. If you want to come in and create a Helios Minor, you have to have TitanX in your wallet, and then you come in and you can create your miner based on the miner length, power, and burn amplifier. Did I get that process correct?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Cool. So, based off of this, the one thing I want to ask you about the burn amplifier. So, when you create this miner, is the TitanX already just burnt right out when you prove it in one transaction?
When it comes to the burn amplifier, yes. Like the regular cost, like if you do a 0 burn amplifier, all of that Titan X is getting used into our ecosystem with the buy and burn, our treasury, and our reward pools. But
Okay.
when you do the burn amplifier, it does in that same transaction, it does burn whatever the setting is, which we've got up to 10% of the cost. So if it costs you a million Titan X, then you can burn up to 100,000 of it. And when you do that, you've got to connect your wallet to show the actual estimated amount, or we can go to the calculator to see the either way.
Let's go to the calculator. I
But
think it'd be better.
yeah, yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, yeah, there we go. And
Gotcha.
that's setting your ROI there, and you've got a 10% burn on there. So you're adding, when you do that, you're burning 10% of your Titan X, and you get, uh, we get 8% cash back on all those burns, and we split that with the user. So 4% goes back to the user, 4% goes to Helios, and then you get your proof of burn record for anytime you want to go back to the TitanX website and start a TitanX miner. You get a bonus percentage on that for the lifetime of your wallet.
Oh,
And
no
the
way.
burn amplifier, that's yeah, the burn amplifier, that's I think that's what really caught Jake's eye. I feel like he kind of didn't really didn't see a lot of value in the burn amplifier until we've actually launched, and now that you can see the stats, we've
Oh, just clicked out. Hmm. 1 second.
oh,
Awesome, man. So let's talk a little bit more about this miner. So picking up from where you were just talking about earlier, you talked about how the burn amplifier really caught Jake's eye. Do you think the burn amplifier is something that a lot of people in the community are underestimating?
yes, absolutely. To me, it's like an auto include on every time. Just for the fact that you get 4% back on everything that you burn, and giving you the bonus amplifier back on the TitanX's website when you start miners. To me, that's just like an auto. Like, there's no downside, in my opinion, to the burn amplifier, and I think it caught a lot of people by surprise. I think they didn't see the value in it and didn't expect much to get burned, and now that we've got the stats, it's really caught a lot of people's eyes on how much we've not just locked up but actually burned.
Okay. And so the other thing I'm trying to wrap my head around. So basically, if you burn TitanX, you qualify for a burn wallet, and in that burn wallet, there's like a certain amount of ETH that's going to get paid out. And so you're saying that if you go through this burn amplifier and you burn some of that TitanX, you guys take 4%. Whoever burns it keeps 4%, and then you basically get that ETH payout based on whatever cycle date. Correct?
The user gets the ETH payout. The only thing that we're splitting is the TitanX
Okay.
cashback. We're splitting that with them. And just to be clear, the ETH payout pool has not been turned on yet. So if you're burning any TitanX today, it's not going towards that until he flips that switch to turn it on. And in my opinion, he's not really going to do that until you see other protocols coming out to compete in the burning of TitanX. Um, but right now, when you burn TitanX, you are earning 4% cash back and a percentage bonus on any future miners that you start on TitanX.
Gotcha. Okay. I love that. That's awesome, man. That is absolutely creative because when I was diving back into the protocol and I saw that, that really caught my eye, and I'm pretty sure that's catching a lot of people's eyes too. On
Yep.
top of the investment pool that you guys were also creating. Cool. Now,
Mhm.
moving on to my next question. Let's talk a little bit about the buy and burn. So, is that burn pools? I believe it's right here. So, with the bond, the one thing I noticed is this hasn't been turned on yet. Is there a plan on turning it on after a certain period of time, or what's the process
Uh,
for the buy and burn to be activated?
no, it's on. It's been running since
Oh,
launch.
it's been running. Okay.
Yeah,
So did I?
I
I
think
thought I.
the buttons
Go ahead.
just grayed out because you're not logged in. I think that's the only thing. But yeah, we've had several burns. It's just the gas fees are insane right now. That's the only downside. Um, but yeah, it's
Gotcha.
been running.
All right, that was my fault. Okay. Now, with the buy and burn, are you guys only going to be having a version 1 or will you have like a version 2 like Titan X did? Or is it just gonna be one version?
Just this version, and we're using like it's the similar to Titan X's version 2. But if you notice, we've got our Titan X burn pool as well that's not on. That will come in once we start the investment pools, and when that starts bringing in yield, we'll start burning TitanX directly with that. So in the future, we'll be burning TitanX directly, and then burning HLX as well.
Gotcha. Awesome. Good stuff. Cool. Now let's get into I want to talk a little bit about this beautiful chart. So for those guys you don't know, we got the Helios miners, and it basically feeds into this beautiful ecosystem. From the Helios miners, when you decide to mint Helios, some of that TitanX goes into a reward pool, a treasury, buy and burn Helios, and then we got the investment pool, and then you also have Helios staking. So you got a lot of big moving components. Now,
Mm-hmm.
with the investment pools, this is also another thing that really makes Helios stand out compared to the rest of the protocols on top of the burn amplifier that we're just talking about. W- Has this been rolled out yet in the protocol?
No, I mean it's there. Like we've just got our first payout from TitanX on our treasury. It was it was a 8-day payout, so not a big one. But we did successfully pull some in, and some went into our investment pool. But that's going to be really our long-term strategy. Like right now, we're working on building our V1 treasury, which is the TitanX max stake. And as that continuously grows, every time somebody starts a miner, we're feeding TitanX into that, and it's growing larger and larger. And then as that pulls in more and more ETH, that's when our investment pool will start filling up. We're also looking at our future projects that, because we're absolutely going to build additional projects related to Helios. And I think what we're looking at now is primarily taking additional profits off of sister protocols and backfeeding that into our investment pool so that we can kind of jumpstart that a little bit quicker.
Wow. Okay. So with this project development, is it just going to be under the Helios ecosystem, or is this going to be outside the Helios ecosystem?
Uh, it's still to be determined. We're looking
Okay.
at a lot of the ideas that we've got require lower gas fees. So we're looking at other chains to possibly expand out onto, but still relying on TitanX tokens and as well Helios tokens. We've got like Pulsar that's going over to Pulse Chain, and they're building TitanX liquidity pool on that chain. So that's something that we're going to look into. If we can tap into that, that would be cool. But yeah, absolutely. We're looking to bring more users outside of Ethereum, because you've got tons of people on Pulse Chain or, Binance or Arbitrum, all these other, protocols or, blockchains.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. I was actually looking into Pulsar, and it's a very fascinating concept. And if they can pull that off and use basically bring TitanX to Pulse Chain, that could potentially be the baseline for TitanX going to interoperable on multiple chains. I'm
mhm.
curious to know your thoughts. Let's just say Pulsar is successful in the development of their project, and we have TitanX on Pulse Chain. Do you think they're do you think TitanX should go to multiple chains outside of Ethereum? And if so, which chains do you think would be the best place for TitanX community to target?
If it's done correctly, I think we should hit them all, really. And not TitanX specifically. Like it can be, that layer one system that's only on Ethereum, but all these layer two protocols like Helios and Pulsar and all them, like we can expand out onto these other chains. Which ones? I think we should hit them all. Like why not broaden our fan base, or our marketing? Like, just there's going to be people that are only in Binance chain or only on Pulse chain. So if we can build projects on all of them, then I think we're going to get the most reach.
Absolutely. Something interesting that I've been looking at with Bitcoin DeFi. I don't know if you've seen a couple of my videos, but I've been diving into Bitcoin DeFi. I've been obsessed with these like layer two scaling solutions,
Mhm.
stacks, Satoshi VM, B squared network. And if you go over to Stacks, they have a new meme coin that's absolutely running. And basically, what's going on with Stacks is they're building this layer two on top of Bitcoin. So you can have smart contracts, you can have a DEX, you can have
Mhm.
meme coins, you can have everything Ethereum has. And what we're seeing is a lot of the Bitcoin whales are having fun over at Stacks. Now, this is a crazy hypothetical. This might be a year down the road, or this might not even happen. But if you think about it, if somehow we can have TitanX tokens bridged over to some of these Bitcoin layer two scaling solutions, how crazy would that be to have some of these Bitcoin whales and come and speculate? Dude, you got any thoughts on that?
It would be super awesome. Like the feasibility of it, I would have to do a ton of research. Because like bridging to Pulse Chain, where they're Ethereum and Pulse Chain, they're both EVM compatible, so I think it's a pretty easy bridge across. But like going into like Bitcoin's DeFi, I have no idea. I think it would be super awesome. Absolutely. Just like I was saying, reaching every market we can. And if we can get TitanX on Bitcoin's blockchain, then there's another tap that we can get into that brings in not only ETH but Bitcoin. That would be super awesome.
Absolutely. And just one last thing, we'll get back to Helios and TitanX, but just one last note on that. What's crazy about the layer two scaling solutions that really fascinate me is that half of the community are saying that these ZK rollups that are EVM compatible
Mhm.
are impossible. The other half are saying that it has to be like a standard rollup, so it doesn't have like that privacy layer, but you can still have like a EVM compatible layer built on top of Bitcoin. And so right now they're in this like massive debate about whether or not it's possible. And I'm just sitting here just looking at all these project protocols of like, all right, which one to get? Which one should we jump into? So I mean, it gives you an idea, man. We're so early. We're talking about crazy new innovative ideas, and if you saw what happened to Stacks, it could happen to any of these other
Mhm.
side chains. And sooner or later, when interoperability hits the entire cryptocurrency space, it's gonna be easier for projects like TitanX to get onto other blockchains. So, all right, rant over. Back to TitanX. So, my next question, I want to talk about this DAO. So, the future of Helios is going to be revolved around the setup of this DAO. How are you
Mhm.
planning on setting up the DAO, and when do you plan on implementing it?
That's absolutely a priority to get this set up. We're implementing it through Snapshot for all of our voting needs. And through Snapshot, you can vote without having to spend gas. And we can also set it up to where there's additional voting weight for max stakers or max miners, so that people that are uh, like in the protocol for the long term, they can get more of a say than those people that could, just buy Helios on the market, have liquid, make a vote, and dump it back on the market. And actually, with Snapshot, whenever you make a proposal, it takes a snapshot of the blockchain at that time. So it prevents people from buying in after the fact and going in heavy on a vote and then dumping back off. Uh, but
Right.
the ownership of the DAO, that that's going to be it's a multi-signature wallet. Currently, it's a two of three, and I own all three of the keys. As we're going to build a DAO committee, and I intend on having I would say 9 committee members, and what these people will do will at that point, we'll have a 9-key signature, multi-signature wallet where those people, whenever votes get approved or unapproved or whatever on the DAO, it's the actual DAO committee members that are enacting that on the blockchain by using their signing on their owner key to, like say we want to up the buy and burn. Right now I have control, so I can up it just by myself. But in the future, as we have the DAO, that you can't change that until we have, say 6 out of the 9 DAO members sign off on that transaction to increase it. So
Okay.
that allows us to have that maneuverability with the human aspect of things, because blockchain's immutable. But having the DAO, that people to allows us to pivot on decisions, but still have trust in the community that this is not a rug type of situation.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on the human interaction on the blockchain versus artificial intelligence. And this is another side note, but I'm just really curious because I have a feeling you got a lot of knowledge about this. So there's a debate saying that we should go completely AI and just automation and basically remove humans from any sort of interaction whatsoever when it comes to anything from financial, blockchain technology, and labor intensive activities. Then there's another side saying that, hey, we need this sort of human component to balance things out and make sure if there's any failures, they can, plug in the gaps and fix it up. Based on your experience as a developer, what side are you on and why?
I'm definitely like in the middle ground. Like it's absolutely, like AI is here to help people for sure. But like to say we're going all in and letting AI just run the world, that's overboard to me. There's it's definitely smarter than people, but people have um I don't know, it's hard to explain, I guess. Like we have a brain. AI is designed with man, that's hard to say. Like I believe in it, really good for us, but it's still gonna need our intervention. So like middle ground, I think is hands down the best strategy.
I agree. I agree. I also, the reason why I bring this
Yeah.
up is I've been getting into new AI projects launching across blockchain technology. And I have this theory that when it comes to anything cryptocurrency related, this was never to make dog coins and like get rich off of just like these
Mhm.
random meme coins. The end goal was to develop an advanced AI system that can
Yeah.
be self-automated, that can basically perform tasks that we can do. And now we're starting to see the rollouts of some of these projects, and in my opinion, it's getting extremely scary. But also on the flip side, it's really intriguing to see how far we come with this type of stuff. So that's part of the reason why I talked to you about that, and just a little obsessed over it. But I really do appreciate your opinion, man. And
Yeah.
I think that how you guys are implementing the DAO is the correct way to do it. I do believe that there needs to be some sort of human component behind it. And I also do believe that overall, the people who interact the most with the project want to see it to succeed in comparison to bad players. Dude, any thoughts on that?
Yes. Yeah. We need to tread lightly. Like AI is a great tool, but tread lightly, and take this nice and slow, and just yeah. And we need to keep some control. Absolutely.
Good stuff. All right. Now, getting back to
Yeah.
Helios, excuse me. When it comes to the investment features, I know you got tons of ideas on what you want the investment fund to go and develop. And you probably heard some ideas from the community. Have you heard of anything creative, whether it's something from utilizing the Aave protocol or something on MakerDAO, something in that field?
Most people want something riskier. To me, like I would. I would like to see low, medium, and high risk strategies, where Aave and or Ethereum staking, something like that. That would be a very low risk strategy. But from what I've seen in the community, they're ready to gamble, and I'm okay with that. It's to me that's like we're in a bull run, and it's there's ways to make money right now. So as we go, we're not going to just go all in on meme coin or whatever. It's I envision it'll be diversified. That's the whole point of the portfolio or the investment pool, is to diversify. So um, I've seen a lot of Pulse Chain fans and a lot of Hex fans that they're kind of, all the suggestions kind of lean towards that side, which makes me even more interested in expanding on the Pulse Chain side, just because that seems like where there's interest already there.
Absolutely. And I think the TitanX and Pulse Chain community, there's a lot of overlap. Actually, there's a lot of overlap between the Zen, Pulse Chain, and TitanX community. So, excuse me. So, we got three communities that have a lot of people that interact with all pro. So, the thing I see with these interaction with all three of these communities coming together is there's a lot of overlap and they all understand each of these protocols. And I do think that TitanX would do really well in Pulse Chain, but the thing I fear about is launching another TitanX onto the Pulse Chain. That means we'll probably see another DragonX, possibly another Helios, and any other coin that plans on building on top of TitanX. Dude, do you think we should have another TitanX on the Pulse Chain, or you're more leaning more towards the Pulsar side of things, and let's just go with the bridge tokens over and have Ethereum as the home?
Uh, no, like I think like we don't want to just fork TitanX and put it on Pulse Chain, but just bridging over the tokens themselves and building on Pulse Chain. I think that's a great idea. Just any other use case that we bring to TitanX, will add to the value of it, because it's it adds more demand for the token. And so, like I wouldn't just fork Helios on Pulse Chain. I would build something that interacts with the TitanX token or the Helios token on Pulse Chain. And that's why I was saying, like with Pulsar working on building a liquidity pool, that would make things easier. If multiple projects get together and work on the same chain, then we can all kind of work off of we all build our liquidity pools over there, and over time we'll have enough for people to get in without having to deal with TitanX on the Ethereum main chain. But it'll still, like, it, to me, that's always a good thing. It's definitely a good thing.
Awesome. Good stuff. Now, let's talk about something that a lot of people in TitanX are excited about, the launch of Hyper and
Mm.
Shogun. So, we got these two projects launching right around the corner. In your opinion, how do you think this is going to impact the Helios ecosystem?
Uh, it'll help us. It'll help us. We saw with just launching or releasing the Telegram for Hyper, and the pump that ensued on TitanX's chart just from that, was just that's just a little peek into what's going to happen when Hyper does launch. There's tons of people that um, are not interested in these other protocols. They're sitting there waiting on Hyper specifically. And then there's people that are interested in all the protocols, and they interact with all of them. But with Hyper specifically, absolutely, there's going to be usage of their platform. And we haven't seen a white paper, so we don't know exactly what it's going to be, but I do know it will drive demand for TitanX. And again, that's what we're all here for. And as the price of TitanX goes up, so does Helios. So it's not a competition.
Absolutely. And this is the other thing I think a lot of people are overlooking. That's what I love to do is go and find the things that people aren't talking about and things that people are overlooking and then make actions based off of that. So to start off with Helios, I think it's a great way to increase your TitanX position by the actual amount of TitanX utilizing the
Mhm.
Helios protocol. Now, flipping over to DragonX, I think DragonX is a great way to basically hold TitanX, but also it has this deflationary component that is done at a much faster pace than TitanX. So, in my opinion, even though TitanX is still this leverage play on top of Ethereum, these protocols add a very unique utility behind the ecosystem, and it can also help you gain more TitanX in the long run. And that's the thing I think people are missing out on because I do agree. TitanX mining, that's the heart and the soul of this ecosystem. But outside of that, with these protocols being built on top of it, I think it's just a great way to increase your TitanX position because a lot of people firmly believe that TitanX is going to do well. I know you can't speculate on price because you're a founder, but ultimately, I think that's where the secret sauce is, the meat and the cheese, the stuff that nobody's talking about. So I definitely think a lot of people are
Mhm.
overlooking it. Now my next question I want to ask you about. So you guys got this investment pool and this investment protocol. Do you think there's going to be some sort of passive income generation DApp that's going to be utilizing Hyper and Shogun in the future?
Man, that's really hard to say because primarily nobody knows exactly what it is.
Right.
Um, Anything's possible, and I think lots of protocols are we're all working together, and I can see other protocols building off of each other. That's very likely to me. Absolutely. Like I know for me specifically, um, I'm very interested in building on top of Helios at first, or at least if I build something else that's interacting with TitanX as well. But my primary goal, like we need to fill our investment pools up. We need to get this going. And that's where the longevity of Helios comes in. So that's my primary concern. Once we've got a few protocols built out that are backfeeding that, and now we've got say 3 protocols that are all feeding one pool. That's when I feel like we're getting legs, and then from there we can look at reaching out and building on top of other protocols and all that.
Good stuff. So speaking of Helios and launching projects on top of it, do you guys have a burn wallet or a burn function similar to that of TitanX?
We do. You can burn miners and stakes as well, just like TitanX. And
Okay.
we also have a 8% cash back on anything Helios burned. So just the same incentives that people have to build on TitanX, you can have that on Helios.
Okay. Cool. Have you received any interest from developers to build on top of on top of Helios?
Just the meme coin so far. Um, but I wouldn't expect. I don't know. I feel like we still have a little bit of reputation to build before we start getting interest from other parties. But it doesn't bother me. Like I know that there's value in it, and like I said, I'm gonna build on top of it. And yeah, the people will come once they see what we're about, and once we start really filling, like I said, our investment pool. Once that starts filling up, and we're going infinite at that point, like I think that's going to attract a lot of people.
Okay. Next question. What type of protocols would you like to see be built on top of Helios from a hypothetical sense?
All of it.
Did I ask you
Like
that question in the last one? I think I did. You had the same response. Well, yeah, keep going. I'm sorry.
no, I mean, yeah, like I want to see all of the options. I don't really want to go into the ideas that I've got, but I've got several, and I think they're all great ideas, and maybe some that can link some of all these other layer 2 protocols, I think that would be amazing as well. Something that works with Titan Market and Pulsar and Blaze and Baby Dragon X. Just like there's so many options where, to me, like, all of them are great ideas, because collaborations are always awesome. And the end goal, like, we're all here to burn and lock up TitanX, so working together, I think we can just burn more TitanX.
Awesome. Love it. That's awesome. And I really curious to see these new protocols that you got up your sleeve, man. It sounds like you
Hmm.
got some tricks up your sleeve. I absolutely love it. And
Yes.
when I see a protocol like Helios, it's pretty fascinating to think that Helios is a project built on top of TitanX, but also it's a launch pad. And I guarantee you're going to have another project being built on top of Helios. So it's like a
Hmm.
project built on top of a project built on top of a project. So it's kind of it's like TitanX Inception across the board, which is awesome. But
And they're
I
all leverage plays of each other too.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy to think. And the other thing I
Yeah.
also like to throw out there is if you look at the liquidity pools, so Helios probably has a thick LP between TitanX. TitanX has a thick LP between Ethereum. And then whatever projects launched on top of Helios is going to have a thick LP between Helios. So the arbitrage opportunities across these four token sets, it's going to be
Hmm.
pretty big. And if this is on Uniswap version 3, you're going to burn a lot of fees, which is crazy to
Hmm.
think about. So, my overall thoughts on the Helios ecosystem, what I see here is a lot of opportunity. And from that tweet from Mike Dean that he put out there, and what you guys, ooh, hold on, before I show this one, I want to show this. So, and to see what you guys have already accomplished, and it's been less than a week, this is huge. And what this tells me is that a lot of people are sleeping on Helios, and it's going to be like this Trojan horse down the road that it's going to come out of nowhere, and a lot of people are like, "Wow, what's going on with this protocol?" So, I do think that in the initial phase, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to grab traction, but in my opinion, once you guys fill up the treasury and get the ball rolling, I don't think there's going to be a problem when it comes to project development interests across the board. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
man,
agree. I agree. I'm loving these stats. Like, this was absolutely a success to me, and we can only grow stronger from here. And I think, like those stats that you're showing, that's what's gonna really interest people. And yeah, we're already not even a weekend, not even a weekend. And you see how many miners are started on Titan X over the first 100 days. So imagine what those stats will look like in another 94 days when we hit day 100. What that's going to look like. And the like our 420-day pool, like, I'm so excited to keep watching that fill up, because it's already growing pretty quickly.
absolutely. And here's the other thing I want to throw out here. Let's see if I can pull this up real quick. Now, I want to talk about the TitanX 369-day ETH payout. Let's see what the
Mhm.
amount is real quick. Um, cool. So add a stage. So this is the big one that I've been looking at, and this is another thing I think not a lot of people are
Mhm.
talking about. Day 369 is going to be sometime, I believe. TitanX launched on, what was it, October 28th? I believe. Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, it was October
Yeah,
28th.
sounds right.
And basically, when Tynex's birthday comes up, 4 days after that, this thing's gonna have a bunch of ETH hitting the market. Now, with this amount of ETH hitting the market, DragonX is gonna get a bunch, Helios is gonna get a bunch, and then there's
Mhm.
probably gonna be 12 other protocols that's gonna get a bunch. Now, what does this mean? So if you guys look at the amount of TitanX that is supposed to hit the market in the future, let's see if I can pull up Dune Analytics. Oh, there you go, right there. Hopefully this won't take too long. Let's say TitanX.
And I gotta say, if you haven't donated to Mike Dean yet, please
Hey,
do so. He does so
can
much
you still
work.
hear me, man?
Yeah.
So if we come down here and we just take a look at the amount of TitanX that's going to be hitting the market, let's look at the future supply. So based on this chart, we have the log scale, and then we have this non-log scale. We're gonna get we're gonna get closer to November, and that means this entire supply is going to be hitting the entire market, and then basically it starts to decrease by a lot. Now, the other thing we can also look at is on top of that, not many TitanX miners have been started on the day. And number one, there's probably not as much hype behind it because the APR is down and got rid of, and all the degens moved on. Number two, gas fees. So we're having an incoming supply shock. And then on top of that, we're getting that day 369-day payout. So you know what? My favorite time for TitanX is going to be on TitanX's birthday because most of the supply is going to be on the market. We get this 369-day payout. It goes straight to Helios and projects like Dragon X. And that's when we're going to see the magic happen. Dude, do you have any thoughts on this upcoming TitanX supply shock? And what do you think about the 369-day payout?
Everything is going as planned. I think it's people are they're not they're a lot of people are short-sighted, and they're yelling increase the buy and burn, the price is too low, blah blah blah. Like it in the long run, it's really this is where it's really gonna people are gonna see how TitanX is designed to work, and they're gonna see they're gonna see it shine. And Helios and Dragon X and any other future protocols to get a piece of it, they're all going to be benevolent whales, and they're all working, like they're feeding a lot of that ETH back into the ecosystem. And when that happens, it's yeah, it's going to go bonkers for sure.
Love it, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, that
Yeah.
is it for my questions today. Is there anything else you want to dive in, Helios wise, or any final thoughts?
No, I'm just if you got any questions, please hit us up on our Twitter and or join our Telegram, and join the DAO discussions. And like if if there's something that the community wants, we're the place to go, and we are definitely catering to those people. And come check us out.
Awesome. And like I said, guys, I absolutely love Helios. The dude is awesome. Not only is he a great developer and honest guy, he's probably one of the characters from Shaggy and Scooby Doo. Just kidding. But ultimately, you guys get a chance, please check out the Helios protocol. There's a lot of really great information. There's a good chance that down the road you're going to see this project protocol get active with the amount of development being built on top of it. And we got the launch of the DAO, and we're going to see the investment pool start to do a fill up. So definitely something you guys want to keep an eye out. And also consider following us on the Verse Crypto channel, and follow everyone on the R2R network. Good stuff, guys, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, y'all.